started out really heavy in the acting world, and then you started taking a direction that changed your life, animal activism, and you have been pursuing that for over 30 years. How did that come about?
Well, it's just my experiences with animals. I never had a dog or a cat, so I'll make that real clear. It's just what I experienced with the shelters. Try to make it real short. My experiences with shelters, it got me into overpopulation of animals, spay and neuter. I did that for 3 years, animal welfare, until I went into a laboratory one time. Somebody asked me to go in there, and the things that I saw inside the laboratory, you wouldn't, just probably the most horrific stuff I've ever seen. And it was once termed that it's the blackest of all evils, and it is, because it's methodical torture. And you can, when you're extracting information by causing pain and suffering, that's torture, according to the dictionary. So, we do it in times of war. We torture people to get information, and we do it for, animals too. We're not getting the right information. It's wrong. And, going from one species to another species, you're never going to find it. We could be twins. Penicillin could be good for you. For me, it might kill me. We differ within our own species. We differ with our own environment, cultures. There's so many different things that create the differences in people. Yet we want to go ahead and try to extrapolate that information from another species of animal that was given artificially induced this disease, whatever disease it may be, and then try to find a cure to that disease and give it to somebody that spontaneously got the disease and another species. It's never going to work. Not now, not in a million years is it going to work. But it's a big business. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. Just look at the pharmaceutical companies, look at the biomedical research community, and they're bad. It's like this. You got the AMA, Biomedical Research Community. They're owned and controlled by the pharmaceutical industries. And the pharmaceutical industries are owned and controlled by the multinational petrochemical corporations. They run the world, and we're all paying for it. And unless till the day comes when we all start getting out there and trying to make a change, pretty much we screwed it all up. We screwed it up for the next generation of kids, and I don't know if there'll be another generation after that, but we really pretty much screwed things up, and we need to make a change and try to do something about it.
Well, you absolutely are. Now, you were just in a film, and you went around the world talking about not only the film, but also the animal activism. Is that correct?
Yeah, I did something, and part of the deal was a series. It was called Desire, with a new network called My Network, owned by Murdoch. And the deal was, I'll do the series if when I do all these interviews, I could talk about animal issues. I did 126 interviews, 121 of them I got to talk about animal issues. And eventually they started calling me, because I played a mob boss, they started calling me the mob boss with a heart, which is good. I mean, it shows, you could be tough, you could be compassionate at the same time. And I wanted people to see that, because the people I'm trying to reach out to, well, not these people here. These people are already there, I'm trying to reach out to the gangbangers and the tough kids, or somebody that potentially is going to hurt an animal. I want to reach them. I want them to see that you could be strong and you could still be compassionate. You could be gentle. The strongest being is a compassionate, free-thinking human being. That is a strong individual, because no government, no corporation is going to control that person. They see something wrong, they see somebody suffering, they're going to come in and they're going to do something about it. They're not going to be conditioned to think, I can't do anything about it. They're going to go in there and they're going to do something about it.
So what are your primary goals now with the animal activism?
Primary goals, number one is we're working on finishing up with the Class B dealers. B dealers are people that are licensed by the USDA to get a Class B license. And they're licensed to basically steal your dog, your cat, and turn around and sell it to research facilities. And that's what they do. And it's an ugly, dirty business. We put the first people in this country in state prison, federal prison. There were 129 Class B dealers when we started 25 years ago. There are 10 left. And but even when they're gone, I still want to get a federal bill that we have in Congress right now. And that's what people can do. They could go and look at this bill or go to our website, lcanimal.org, or Puppy Mill. There's another one working on puppy mills too. But you could look it up and find out about Class B dealers. Or come to our website, and we'll really give you all the information you need to do something about it. So
it's like an animal mob.
Oh yeah, and in the South they call it the Dixie Mafia, and it is a mafia, except it's even more organized than the mafia, and it's a closer knit thing. We just busted a guy a couple years ago in Arkansas. He was a minister of his own church, making over $1 million a year. We busted him. He lost his farms, paid exorbitant hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in restitution. He's a convicted felon, never allowed to own a firearm again, never allowed to hunt. It's a big deal for a good old boy down there. So, yeah, C.C. Beard, bad guy, and doing bad things, and but no longer. He's out of the business. He's done. He's finished. But it took 8 years to get him. He was the biggest Class B dealer in the business.
Well, Chris, maybe you should make a movie about that and use all the proceeds to totally eliminate this.
Maybe we will.
I just gave him an idea. I want to be in the credits.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Any other websites you want to mention before we go?
Well, there's puppymills.com. It's another thing we're working on right now. Puppymills.com. And that's do not buy from a pet store. You've got adoption agencies. You got some here. You've got people busting their back trying to rescue animals. Go adopt from them. Go to the shelter and adopt an animal. But do not buy an animal. Do not pay money from somebody out by a supermarket that's got a bunch of puppies that they're breeding. They're called backyard breeders. Do not buy from them. Do not buy from a pet store. That's my biggest, no pun intended, pet peeve. Do not, because you're contributing to every one of those dogs that make it into a good home. Countless others have to die. 3 die in the shelter. In the puppy mills. You took away from an animal that could have been rescued, and there's 4 right there. And then you're talking about the ones you get in the puppy mill dogs are not altered. They're not fixed, spayed or neutered. So good chance that they'll reproduce somewhere along the line. Not everybody's very cautious. They don't go get their animals fixed. So they'll reproduce. And I say adopt, don't shop.
Absolutely. And another thing that's sad about that too is, well, I come from a close-knit half Italian family, and I know if I was just made to be given away to somebody, that hurts. This is the business of making families and then destroying them within the animal community, and I don't like that either about the breeding.
Oh, the breeding's horrible. Breeding creates slaughter, and that's simple as that. Why would you breed animals and bring them into this world when we're killing 8 to 11 million a year? Well, because we're worried about that breed disappearing? How about the animals themselves suffering and dying? I think we need to really look into that. And if there are hobby breeders that are really supposedly good breeders, they should be the ones leading the band to go out there and stop these puppy mills. Support us. Don't go and fight us. They fight us on every inch of the way when we're trying to get a bill put through on puppy mills. They're out there, the hobby breeders, the backyard breeders, special interest groups, they're out there fighting us all the time. And I say, don't do it. If you're worried about keeping a particular breed alive, and I'm not for that. Again, as long as there's an animal being tortured, being killed because of overpopulation, we shouldn't be breeding. We really shouldn't be breeding at all. And I don't care about the breed. I care about the suffering of any animal. Whether if it's got 20 breeds in it, it's a total mutt. It makes no difference. Suffering is suffering. Torture is torture.
Well, thank you for being so sensitive from one compassionate creature to another.
All right.
Chris DeRose, actor and animal activist.